Kia mā kina kina kiuta, kia mā taratara ki tai. E hi aki ana te atakura, he tio, he huka, he hauhu, ti hei, mauri ora.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
Kia ora koutou. It's good to see everyone here and like familiar faces and new faces in the flesh and all sorts. Welcome to Flesh and Bone, which is going to be like a reading of poetry and then a like casual discussion about whatever. I don't know. There's some questions. I don't know how I will follow them. I ate too much McDonald's before, so it's coming down on me like a brick wall. Yeah, so we're just gonna introduce ourselves, talk about, you know, what we like to write about, or you know, just anything about ourselves, and then we're gonna do a reading. Yeah, and then after that we'll talk. I'm just repeating myself already. Anyway, I'm essa ranapiri, I whakapapa to Ngāti Rokua ki Titonga, and Waikato Tainui, and Clan Gun in Scotland, and Highgate in England and London. Ugh, I've never been there. Yeah, I write poetry mostly.
Talofa, I'm Faith. Do I need to speak into the microphone? And I am Samoan. My villages are Vaimoso and Siumu, and we actually share Scottish whakapapa. I'm Clan Gun too. And yeah, I mostly write poetry, but also write other things, and yeah.
Kia ora, I'm Jessica. I'm Ngāti Nui in Ngāpuhi. I'm originally from the Taranaki and Hokianga region, but I'm stuck down here at the moment, and we got some Scottish in there, got some Norwegian. I think that's it. I write poems and make art.
Kia ora tātou. Thank you for coming out. This is exciting. Oh, I'm feeding back into the thing. I also whakapapa up to Ngāpuhi, and also Niue, and also Scotland, and England, I think, as well. I don't pay as much attention to that side, to be completely honest. But, you know, yeah, I've always written stuff, but I've only started admitting that very recently, and it's moved very fast, and now I'm here to read you some poems, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, so I'm gonna walk up there, hopefully gracefully, and share some poetry, and then we'll go in like order of, yeah, the order that we've set down in. Is this audible? Good for everyone? Cool. Just to note, I'm going to be like scrolling through a really long Word document between poems because I couldn't copy them into one condensed Word document on my phone because I just have my phone. Anyway, this poem is called Who Weaves the Sea, and it's for Ariel Walker, who's a wonderful poet who I mentored for Tupuranga's most recent issue. And this is like kind of in response to her writing. Who weaves the sea complete over our heads? I listen to the weight, the tiny particles, the threads pooling in our fears. Raise a hand up, touch our ancestors' dreams. They do not look like this yet. They do not look like open minds and smoke. They do not look like a price tag on a house. Who weaves the air, and can they please clean it for us? We've tried so hard to stop what has happened, but the language of incredible violence isn't a language to be reasoned with. Take one half of the agreement and leave it for rats. Who weave the rako we write on, and can they undo what has been done? The rust translation, the new nomenclature of ambiguity, the sequence of events, where our people are trying to find a place here. Is this what our ancestors want? I hope so. Who weaves anything? And why can't I find the names on my tongue? This is about the internet, I guess. What fucking nerd designed this? What fucking nerd designed this sandbox of racist glass? What libertarian, coked up in the dark of his office, shot our society through the open mouth of a gun? A musket, I must ask questions of, a musket that speaks with no language but the boom and the Bible and the native advertisement over the native. No, but seriously, fucking ads in Messenger now? Nationalize everything, except nation states. We've got to get something right this century, and by we, I mean everyone working to unsettle the land. They finders, keepers, losers, weepers away from motherfuckers with some mana. This is a poem from Moana Jackson. It's called What We Fight For. For the light scattered through the trees, fern tessellations folding around Kareao. For the rangatahi on the streets waving their signs, no justice, no peace, no justice, no peace. Tino painted onto jean jackets, flags held high. For boundaries dissolving back into the whenua. All those bars on all those cells, even our bodies aren't so restrictive as all that Pakeha nonsense. For the piwaka waka and its multicoloured fan and its blessed laugh, like the uncle who finds things funny when he really, really shouldn't. For the children rushing off the wharf into the moana, sunscreen and salt smell like grease on the barbecue, but sweeter somehow. For the kids carrying the bags of groceries heavy with cans, nacho beans and sweet chili sauce. For the awa surging, tuna swimming alongside taniwha. One has come from a long way away. One has come from a long time ago. For the maunga moving always forwards as the planet spins, as our ancestors drift with purpose through our dreams, sweaty backs and sore legs as we climb. For our tipuna, hugged so close to the land, they became it. This poem's called Koiwi. If you pulled my bones out, would you be able to place them? Would they be recognizable here or somewhere else? Cast out, what intersecting patterns would they make with the floorboards or the tiles? It is no gentle work. It would be no gentle working itself out. Would you be here in the suckling bop? What kind of river are you, the air asks the body. What phase are you moving through, either by the moon or by the temperature you rest in? Where is my melting point? I ask the air. I ask my body. What wax figurines can be imbibed here? Who goes swimming inside me? And how long do I wait before pulling them out? Okay, I have to change Word documents now, so that's happening. Inside a normal killing machine. We are inside a normal killing machine. You and I inside a normal killing machine. Everyone we know inside a normal killing machine, and love inside a normal killing machine. You never got the chance inside a normal killing machine to know, because we are inside a normal killing machine. We are the insides of the normal killing machine. We eat inside a normal killing machine. We fuck inside a normal killing machine. We grieve inside a normal killing machine. We laugh inside a normal killing machine. We fight inside a normal killing machine. We critique the normal killing machine inside a normal killing machine. With so many useless words inside the normal killing machine, we hope the normal killing machine may choke inside itself, but it doesn't die inside a normal killing machine. The only thing a normal killing machine doesn't kill is itself. This is a short poem for Gareth Morgan. A New Zealander's life is worth $10,000, you say? In that case, I wonder how many lives your net worth could save. Okay, I'm going to read the poem that's like on the wall there. I think it's on the wall there. It's like got the word white in it a lot, and it's crossed out. So it's another repetition thing. I mean, I'm excited. I don't know. Yeah, this is in response to the whole idea of like people were good for their time, and I feel like, you know, the people that were being shat on always knew what was happening was bad. Yeah, anyway. For their white time. The white hall, the white tower and the white road and the white house and the white loam and the white paint and the white Rome and the white society holding a white host to their breasts as white as the snow that falls in the white season, the white fingernails trimmed off, the white fingers, the white thought to keep the white generations white and writing on white pages with white backgrounds, the white tooth split from the white face, the white culture, the white tree growing white roots into the white ground, the white empire and the white crown, the white potato and the white tongue, the white blood spilled, the white blood, the white nation and the white sirens and the white visa and the white lips sniveling of white ideology and white passports and white travel and white freedom and white planes flying over white seas, the white fish swimming up white streams, or the white eels coil into white lightning bolts setting a white fire to a white field, or the white grass burnt white, the white eyes and the white hair and white hands unable to feel anything out in a white world, too bright to see the white night holding white stars, white shadows hiding more white shadows, white cars pumping out white smoke to the white quotation of sweeping white crimes under a white carpet, or remembering the white time when this white thought was just a thought everyone who was white had, this white ink losing itself into more white. I think I have a few more. This might get me in trouble. Finding and Killing Fletcher Building CEO Ross Taylor. A poem can be a threat, can be anything it fucking wants to be, can be a nail gun shooting grey into a brain, blood sloshing inside the skull, the eyes growing wide and the life leaving them. A poem depicting violence becomes an issue when it takes part in the act of naming. Something this poem does. Referring to a man who has been the CEO of Fletcher Building since 2017. You can type his name into the internet, preceded or followed by the name of the company he is attached to. Do it. I'll wait. The poem can wait forever. And you will find in one Q&A video, he is wearing a blue tie. Is it a hoop or an eye design? And the suit fits. You can see the tape measure when he talks. He moves his hands in front of his body like he's grabbing onto something invisible in the air. With this information, the reality of it sinking in, the violence of the first stanza really makes a pit, really engraves something hard just under the diaphragm. But when the work is done, the poem will frame this as justice. Standing on something somewhere, I dare you to try and disentangle us from the land. Our ancestors all know why this violence would be just, so the poem feels no need to justify it. I don't even know if this is true, because I think I wrote a poem about my brother. But anyway, this is the last time I wasted an hour writing a fucking poem about cops. Apparently, they read a poem I had written in the presence of the police, their dogs all comb-over tame, muzzled and thinking about blood like how their tipuna did. Except with thousands of years of animal cruelty and the wag of the tail, selective breeding, selective bleeding, my words in someone else's mouth as an attempt to build a bridge to class traders. What a tongue to fold up bricks on. Saliva is no suitable cement. What materials did they have to use when? What concessions did they make with my line-breaking bodies? I mostly write about how much it fucking sucks to be stuck inside a corpse you thought you had been done with for 5 years now. To eat a plant after 3 weeks of neglect, to find it's fake and you can't commit to swallowing any of it. And still, as they bark racist jibes, what do Māori deaths have to do with pride? And prick the skin blue as blue can be. I'm racking my mind, trying to find where I said we should listen to cops in a poem. Ugh. Okay, I have 2 more poems. All these poems, a lot of the angrier poems are from a chat book I put together called Polemic, which is why they're I don't know how they are. This is for, that's obviously this is for. Dear Brian Tamaki. I know it's not your fault that you were born into the arms of a god made of money, a white patriarchal demon that scooped up your past and replaced it with what? The idea of pre-contact being no homo? No homo in the sense of mass murder. See what we did to the Moor, we did that to the gays and lesbians as well? The word takatapui means it was just a hug and nothing more. Put a man up on a pedestal to build walls out of toxic masculinity and engines to power them, or just take advantage of the ships that already brought such stunning product intact to civilize the colonies. Turn taniwha into glorified Rottweilers, a way of protecting against the other. And of course you're terrified of us queers. Look at how Pakeha our world has become. This language is an example of everything you fear. And when you die in some truly tragic motor vehicle collision, your insides turn to soup, your meat thoroughly cooked inside the tangle of metal parts, your corpse still clinging to the age-old Christian idea of family values, you'll wake up to heaven so bright you can feel it on your burnt skin, let in through the automated high-security gate at the front of your homophobic god's multi-million-dollar property, where you and everyone you love can scream faggot for the rest of eternity. This last poem is like, I don't know, I used to be a Christian. I'm not anymore. But I don't know, I still find some value in the story of Jesus, and this is me approaching that now. This is written for Easter. He is risen. I'm not celebrating Easter till Jesus actually comes back. And when he does, I won't be eating Easter eggs or chocolate bunny rabbits. I'll be painting camels onto all the walls of my home and screaming, "Does this look like it could fit through the eye of the needle?" Or Jesus assembles the guillotines, 1,000 glinting edges for the 1%, for the landlords and the property managers, for the bankers, for the neoliberal politicians and the conservative Christian pastors, for the whole mess of holding up a system that funnels wealth to the top, cut it off at the neck. Jesus will stand on a mountain of all that cash and shout in the voice that God gave him, "You can't and won't take it with you." And everyone will cheer. But privately, away from the aspiration of revolutionary violence and the quiet pacifism of my bedroom, the sun setting through the window and a camel winking in the corner, I would like to believe that God could take the capitalism out of all of us without spilling a drop of blood. After all, no rich man is getting in. Got it.
Wow, that's such a hard act to follow. You're so good. So this first thing that I'm reading is about KFC. Just because, like, I don't know, not all Samoans, but it's quite a thing, and like it's quite special to me and my nana at least. And I also am a really bad vegetarian, so I do indulge. Just putting it out there. It means I'm not vegetarian, but whatever. So, KFC. When my nana had gum disease, she had to take her false teeth out. She was all gums, no gaps. Nana loves KFC, and so do I, so it must be genetic. I remember eating the skin of a chicken drumstick when I was 3, and Nana ripping off small pieces of their sweet steamed buns for me to nibble on, dipped in potato and gravy, fed with their iconic red plastic teaspoons. When the doctor told Nana she couldn't have her false teeth in her bottom jaw, the first thing she was sad about was that she wouldn't be able to eat all her favourite foods, KFC obviously holding its place at number 1. When she came and stayed, Mum put potato and gravy and KFC chicken in a blender and fed it to Nana as a slurry. It must have been like eating the shadow of a food, the impression of it, lacking substance. Sometimes you just need something to sink your teeth into to feel full. My nana didn't get her false teeth back for 9 years. That's 9 years of subsisting on liquid and mush, 9 years of yearning for something solid, something to land on. I wonder if Nana felt like I feel now, hungry. I'm hungry. I'm so fucking hungry. Hungry for something that will hold me in place, that will fill me up and send me to sleep. Hungry for something that will tell my brain, you are full, you can stop now, you are satisfied. Hungry for that feeling like you have a place in the world and that everything will be okay, and that the land that you live on comes at no price. It must feel really good to be an oblivious white person. I wonder if this is what Nana felt like, filling up but never full, tasting but not enjoying, feeling eternally disappointed, holding on to some hope that things will feel normal again. I wonder what that first bite felt like, teeth sinking into meat, gnawing bone, savouring the texture, the friction. For us, KFC is not just a meal, it's a ritual. We start off by eating the skin, bit by bit or all at once, depending on how voracious the appetite or hot the sun or cool the wind. That leaves the flesh juicy and oily. We pull it off the bones with our fingers and bring it to our greasy lips. We dip it in the potato and gravy, put it in between buns with sweet coleslaw, wash it down with Pepsi. This is our communion. Whoever said we didn't respect the life given for us to eat? This is borderline holy. But it is just KFC, and we're not at church. I just enjoy this thing we have, me and my nana, that everyone else wants to get in on. After we eat the flesh, I eat the bones. This next one it doesn't have a name. It's kind of like a bit of a reimagining of my mum when she was like this young pregnant woman living in Toke, which is really cold in the wintertime. And she was like quite depressed, I guess, when she was pregnant. She was like 22 or something. And I don't really like the ending, so if anyone has any suggestions, you should come and give me a tip at the end or something. Kitted out in a Balenciaga lava lava, Mama looking like a black Madonna, 26 degrees in the shade and counting, drink her up like a tall glass of water. Mama in Balenciaga lava lava, red Crocs so her feet don't blister, black tee, ripped sleeves, faded virgin, Mary iron-on, hand on hip smoking John Players. Post-punk Samoan Balenciaga lava lava, wearing mother, playing old school LPs to the ainga. Toke-style wild child painting pop art in the shed, wearing a blue bandana. Hapuaz in a Balenciaga lava lava, bushy-as hair flowing. Kick-ass Dunlop kicks looking like Jordan's Pepe kicks feel the earth shatter. Pepe swaddled in Balenciaga lava lava, Mama barefoot in a tukaro winter, shaves her head, pretends to be ready for her daughter to become a writer who wears a Balenciaga lava lava with Gucci slides. It's a really bad ending.
It's good, it's good.
I don't actually have Gucci slides, but... and then this one is like, I don't really know what it's about, but I'll read it anyway. I sat on top of books with crystal pages. Oh no, I do know what it's about. That's not the first line. This is about when I was last in Dunedin, I did this performance at the Blue Oyster Gallery. And I was writing like stuff on my body, and I guess the idea of the performance was that I was like writing myself into existence, so valid, like a self-validation exercise. So it's sort of based on that idea. It's called Free Falling. The last time I was here, I wrote myself into existence. I wrote on the walls, on my body, the words I needed to hear to feel real. I sat on top of books with crystal pages, and they broke with every page I turned. I could feel the opening up, dropping away from under me, and I fell freely, not knowing where I'd land, but conscious that I couldn't fall forever. Is this what being born feels like? I landed on the clouds above the Pacific Ocean. I could see islands, but I didn't know which one was mine. I cried every night, trying to make it rain, the deluge carrying me with it, thinking maybe where I'd land might be home. I could see everything through the mist, out of arm's reach. But as much as I cried, it never rained, so I jumped. And here I am, free falling again, with no idea where I'll land. If I land in the ocean, will I sink or swim? Where will my bones take me? They know this land that I stand on. They grew here, they broke here, but they won't mend here. Where does the sea meet the sky? Maybe it's there where I belong, somewhere in between yet indefinable, a place of no place. Maybe that is the Va, a place of interminable depth, yet gently brushing the heavens. Will anyone catch me? Now that I am written, how do I understand the language of my making? How do I decode my bones? Now that I am written, who am I writing for? Are there bones inside me waiting yet for life? Are there bones inside me waiting for the moment their world implodes, the floor cracks, and they find themselves in free fall, light blinding, waiting for somewhere soft to land? Are they the bones of my ancestors or my tamaiti to be? Or are they one and the same? The end. And this is just my last thing. It's kind of just like it's more like a rant poem, but it's just kind of, I don't know, it's fun to write. My poems are only meaningful if you know that I'm a Samoan girl who has had numerous identity crises. Otherwise, I'm just another middle-class sob story. Damn, sis, so you grew up wanting to be white too. Identity politics are so passé, but without them, what the fuck is there to write about? I wrote a poem about the colonization of Samoa, about the bratty fight between England, Germany, the USA, who gets what, how they all had Samoan contenders fighting between each other, because it's all a game, eh? And even though Germany got the west of Samoa, why don't we eat bratwurst? But you're going to dissect it, relate that to my internalized racism, my complex and fractured identity, when all I want to do is eat that fat German sausage. But no one wants to read about my diet unless it's a story of me purging palusami to get a white girl body. You just want to hear about my suffering or apathy, how much dick I ride or pussy I eat, how that's related to my feelings about my Palangi daddy. You want me to start a catfight, Twitter beef, with a twee white rider who has just discovered their bisexuality. Maybe you're feeling attacked or guilty about your complicity in structural racism and contemporary colonialism, even though you're just so woke that none of it applies to you. Because you're not the racist one. You've got a poly boyfriend and you use Māori in your emails. But it's all for show, because your husband is Samoan, so talofa.
Kia ora. I haven't read any of these out loud before, so this can be a fun editing experiment for us all. Oh, okay, we'll start with this one. Wewete, to unravel. I want to decolonize. Oh, is that all right? Thank you. I want to decolonize my body, to brush the tangles of a history loose from my brown hair so that they may disperse like fish over a waterfall. I want to decolonize my mouth, expand my reo beyond haere mai, haere rā, pick the violence out like tonsil stones from the cusp of my throat. I want to decolonize my wairua. It is so slow and laden, like that stink spirit, and spirit it away. I need more bath tokens. I want to decolonize my eyes, so that what I see is seen and understanding of the life cycle and the gifts from my atua. I want to decolonize my skin, so that I may wear my muko dew so long, overdue so long, feel that dew and sap and flax, bathe in recovery, kawakawa and chamomile, the moors of Scotland merged with the hills of the Hokianga. I want to become the root raised from a deep bed of dirt, broken through the concrete path, suddenly here to trip everyone over, an inconvenience, the exposed truth of a tree, ready to reach further out and onto the street. This one's called A Giant Fish, a Safe Space, an Ancient Struggle. I once tried to pace myself, but the islands are vanishing and cars are charging forward, trying to knock me over, so I crack open my manawa and feel for the threads. I pull until my bloodline blossoms, all over my lap, and suddenly my arms are aching. I'm hauling my bloodline to the shore. It doesn't stop. Te waka, te waka. It is anchored in the seabed where Papa sends her pain forward and tremors snake up to strike my hands, electrocute my arms. No kino has weathered this rope, but it does not stop. It was woven long before time was born, so I pull, legs bent like Maui and those kids' books we grew up with. The skin of the sea wrinkles and twitches and irritated taniwha and sleep. It takes hours. I consider stopping, but whenever I pause, the line tenses and moves to slip back into the waves. I cannot lose what I have found. But it's so hard. I'm just like a child, and the mamai is almost blinding. I feel cramps and spasms and blood in my throat and a heart drumming in my ears. The sun bows her head to me, almost in embarrassment. But I'm trying. What can I do? I'm using all my muscle and modi. What is not coming? The wind hears my cries and presses invisible hands against my shoulder blades. All it takes is a nudge and I lose my footing. The line snaps with overwhelming strength and I am flung forward and hit the water's mouth. Still holding tight, I shoot deep into the belly of the ocean. I'm so afraid to drown, but this is not te kore, to my surprise. Through the murk of man, past the manic moki and decaying coral, I see my ancestors wave to me. People of the sea. We always were, have been, and my bloodline leads me to them. Thank you. Sorry, I'm so nervous. This is emotional, fam. Like last night we did Juvenalia with Freya, and it was so lighthearted and silly, and this is just hearing you. Oof, oof. Thank you. Okay. We'll do this. Okay. Greeting my taniwha. Bathe. Unable to visit the womb of Te Moana, I tumble into the belly of the bathtub, unsteady, shrunk into the size of a cat's eye or a lunella smaragda chiseled from her power bed. In shallow water, poi awhio rises with the steam, shades the ceiling in a thick mist, miraka bata miraka, in between my teeth and my toes. Whose knees are these? Whose baby hairs and pocket of belly fat? I bleed with maramataka on my wrists, countless koru unwind from the center of my spine, outward push. It has been quiet lately. The birds are abundant and the weather is unusually warm. It is time to meet myself. In water I may. In water I drape my heavy, rippling thighs across my sandpaper knees. My abdomen presses against my hip. My arms braid around my neck. My hair tangles into my hair. And I whisper the exact same words from my lips to my ear, to my lips to my ear. A handmade message of intimate care. Bed. Sticky threads grow from out my belly button, become a drag to move with. Sinking into silence, I finally feel the worm-like embrace, binding my ankles to the floor. My gut wakes me up in the early hours and I am reduced to a growling carnivore, poisoned by what feels like years of suppression. I call a doctor and they want to cut me open. I call my tipuna and they guide me through the procedure. Grip the wires in two hands and pull, pull, pull. There is a mato lodged in your body and it is time to see what it caught. A poem wriggles out from a celestial hole and falls into my lap, stamps potama onto my skin. My blood cleanses whatever paihana remained. The dam is broken. I stare at this wet result that once swam inside of me and weep and laugh. Mihi mihi, I will be grateful till my eyes finally close. Birth. You sit up, a 25-year-old child, dawning. We were a fine, barely cooked egg whose skin had at last been pierced, whose yolk threatens to cover the plate entirely. The clock on the wall blanches and we are left with no pace, no measurement of joy, no counting down of mamai, just ourselves, just our bodies, just our organs, just the thunder and lightning inside our skulls and peeling lips pressed against each other, and I'm in love. I'm in abundance with my body and my wairua and my other. I reach for the bladed back beside me, kiss the nape, count the moles, trace the pillow creases. We will not be here one day. We will cease to be. Being plagues the thought process, interrupts a good moi. Breathe. The first breath, the last breath. Our noses will never part. I participate in the giant hongi which swells across the land. Aroha, aroha, ha, ha, ha. Listen to your protective instincts. Listen to your origin story. I have no concept of time, so please tell me if we go on too long. We good? Give it another whirl then. Let's do another one. Okay. I'm so disorganized. Guys, I'm sorry. Let's do this one. Okay. Kia tū pato. I have only been sleeping. The crown of a black island in the center of a dusty duvet, curtained in fairy lights and spider webs. But see me roll now, feel the carpet wrinkle and sense the moon blanch, a thrill. I wake my mother too, stir her brown skin, pull at her puzzling weeds with my whirlpool yawn. As if by magical design, I emerge from the stained sheets to collapse fresh acrylic toenails onto the floor, one by one, apple red 6 inches, 8 toes. My twisted, voluptuous body slides after. Kia tū pato, I mutter. I was merely sleeping. The skirts of the beehive shiver, and hot mimi waters the lawn out front, sprouting tents, cardboard signs, and ahika. I wash my face in the salty tears of Te Moana Nui Akiwa. I floss my jaws with stalks of karaihe. I tease the tangles from my hair with witch knuckles and pipi shells, and infuse leaves of karamu to consume and cleanse. I kiss my huika on the cheek before I dress, squeeze my legs into thigh-high, hot leather platforms ready to crush the white man's jaw beneath, a loose top of chainmail draped over large swinging breasts, a skirt of iron pew-pew to dance with the winds that once danced with my elders, and a headu made from the lost bones of my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother on my head. My eyes so large swallow their beads of glowing green, which scan the hills sharply for those who disrupted the natural balance of Mataura. Breakfast is a morning coffee, a plate of bread and butter, cradled and expunged by my forked tongue. The Sky Father bellows laughter, ready for a show, prepared to throw bolts of lightning should shit go down. A kuene koe ia au. Enough. There is great mahi to be done, and I am a guardian sent to flood the channels built by man so that we may swim and fish again. Taniwha on the move, crawling across Te Tiriti o Te Moana Te, belly dragging over ravaged farmland toward Waitangi. Kia tūpato. Ka haere mai aho. The end. Yeah. I think that's the only okay ones, eh? I think the rest is trash. Like, is that all good if we leave it there? Is that okay? I'm gonna leave it there. Thank you.
I've been thinking all day about how emotional this was going to be for me, and I knew one of you would get me, and you got me. And so, yeah. So, yeah, I'm also really short. Thank you. Hi. Thank you. I love you all so much. Thank you all for coming out. Yeah, I'm having a bit of a tongue because of course I am. So my eyes really, really hurt to keep open. So we're gonna see how we go trying to read shit off my phone. I might just tell you about, I wrote a poem recently. I'm just gonna keep my eyes shut for a bit until they calm down. And I wanted to bring it with me. I thought I put it in my phone and I didn't. It's in my laptop somewhere, but I want to tell you about it because I think it's funny. It started as a joke that I made to my flatmate, and I said, I'll be right back. I'm gonna have a shower. I gotta wash the white people off me, you know? And it was a joke until after I said it. And it wasn't that much of a joke. There's this word, whakanoa, and it's tricky to translate, but I suppose in this context it sort of means to cleanse. There's a middle bit of poem in there somewhere, and it's a process. It means to cleanse. It often involves running water, and I don't like water that much, but it helps. Let's do this thing. It's mostly about butterflies. It's also about growth. It's also about not being such a dick to yourself when you're doing your best. Because you're always doing your fucking best. Be nice. Yeah. I swear a lot. I'm sorry if that's not okay. I can rein it in. Healing hurts. Metamorphosis takes time and deconstruction and destruction. The rebuilding happens slowly. Imagine a butterfly still cocooned, dissolved, reforming. How redundant, how reductive for this fluid changing form to snare and flagellate itself over the time it's taken, over how it looks. This transformation is a process. How can you build myself, my dear, when you use all your energy to rip yourself apart? You have to breathe and settle. Breathe. Breathe again and rest. Thank you so much. I'm just going to cry the whole time. Yeah, sometimes you need to. Oh, cool, this one's here. I'll do this one. You get points if you know specifically what this is about. It's just they're fake points. I'll just think you're cool. But yeah, I want to hear your guesses. I shift my weight on tenterhooks between empowerment and emptiness, suspended. Hung to dry and weep beneath the weight of, on my skull, I am empowered, I am empty, I shift. Day 3, modified ritual suicide. I asked, I knew you'd understand. I hope you'd understand. The weight, the drift. I try my best and trip over my mother tongue. I shift between empowerment and emptiness. I see you off in love and shame and fear and reclamation. In the morning, I breathe salt. What have we got? I don't know. I have so many things. And I had a plan and then I got up and forgot it. So here's a grumpy poem I wrote about Dunedin. You built this city on our backs. We reclaimed land for you when all you took was not enough. After arrests made without trial, after our children welcomed you, offering food and warmth, we were here first. My wairoa is housed in Cody roots. I am protected by my tupuna whakapapa. We hold each other up. We were here first. And your roots are more insidious and strangling. They are tangled in with mine and they are sharp. You are the hitch in my throat when I attempt my native tongue between teeth, pale as my skin. My brother wouldn't have to question who he came from, but he died, and I look like our oppressors. I look like one of you. We were here first. We are awake and proud and fighting. We are warriors, gardeners, guardians, still tangata whenua, still steadfast, still. We are still here. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I was going to check the time when I got up here because I think we all have an amount of time, but I forgot to do that, so I don't know how long I've been standing here. Let me know if I need to come down. But I want to read you this poem that I wrote. My friend loaned me a chapbook by a beautiful American poet called Christina Olson, and she did this really cool residency at a natural history museum that I've forgotten the name of, but they had a poet in residence thing, and she was the poet in residence, and she wrote this amazing chapbook. It's called The Last Mastodon, if you can even get a hold of it. It is fantastic. And my friend was like, oh, let me know what you think. And I was like, I can't. It's so good. And so I wrote this poem. Sorry I'm so sniffly also right into the microphone. That's how you know that I'm done my poems, if I stop and sniff. This is, in response to the Last Mastodon chapbook by Christina Olson. So much about the treatment of dead things and incorrect assemblies. They build a parking lot on top of Sally Hemings, and the casual disrespect white people have for death that doesn't look like them and life that doesn't look like them. I lack a fundamental understanding of the concept of land ownership because you cannot own a living thing. Christina Olson taught me about dead things, mastodons, connections, claims of ownership over the living, over long dead bones. Thomas Jefferson owned Sally and 600 other human beings, more than half the population of the town where I grew up. My ancestors were stolen, some are in museums, others were forced to live in caves and build the town where I live now. We treat the rare with reverence. Sonda stopping at humans or death is how we get drawers full of ancient, uncatalogued horse bones. I imagine they are organised by type for ease of storage, rather than by horse. We bore easily, group-like lives together. I know Jefferson's and Sally Hemings' names. I am still missing those 600. I can name James Cook, but not my great-great-aunt who slept with him. There are ways to manage grief. There is no cure yet. Thank you. We still good for more poem things? How we feeling? Cool. Aw, yay. Let's do this one. Hang on. Here's a short one. I'm named after a Kui with a rifle who walked 600 miles for our rights. I will drag my shell however far I need to. You will remain within my rifle's sights. I was named after Dame Fina Cooper. I was born the day after she died. And I was born like 3 months early or something ridiculous, and my parents didn't have a name yet because I was supposed to show up in like 3 months. And I was a C-section birth, and so when my mum woke up, she saw on the news that Dame Fina Cooper had died, and she was like, oh, here's a name. And so that's that thing. I'd never title any of my stuff, so I'm like looking through my like memo app, trying to be like, what's this one? What's this one about? But I wrote this at like 4 a.m. about a cool book that my friend loaned me. It's called The Autobiography of Red, if you ever, yeah, hey, it's dope, right? If you ever run across it, it's fantastic. And it's sort of about that, and it's sort of about friends, and it's sort of just a ramble at 4 a.m. falling asleep. I fell asleep like 5 times, but I kept waking up and like trying to like... I spent a hideous amount of time not reading, but I can share some albums with you if you like, or I could write you poems, show you how I pick up styles from what little I do read. I don't mean to. Sometimes I mean to, if they're fun. Sometimes it's just the hum in my mind taking on a tone, like a car radio. Songs bleeding through each other, but the needle hasn't moved, you've moved around it. Everything's connected, everything's exchanged. You hand parts of my body back to me in prose, connected. You can never know the weight of such an offering, exchanged. Sometimes it's accidental. I just want to know, you know I see you. Holding mirrors to each other's mouths, breath and the illusion of disparity as if we were not seared from the same stars. I don't know how to tell you what I feel, or if it matters. You can never know the weight of such an offering, I say, as though what little I could offer was connection and not plea. I'd like to offer an exchange. I don't know what I have of value. Small attempts at authenticity or fear-filled yearnings for reciprocation, hope for glints of truth. Where might we find the truth if not in everything at once or in each other? Unearthing perpetual connection from red salt, why should I be anything but soft and warm and challenging assumptions? I've lost track of the start, but I don't think that matters. Maybe it's more about how we move forward. That was how I felt during reading that book, and I did another one after I finished reading the book, which I can also read if that would be a vibe. Time is a thick volume, hard to move through, slips through your hands like air when you want it to stop, a trickster God who must yet learn so much, who has so much to teach, who does all things as if they do not matter and as though they matter most. I think I wanted something that doesn't exist, a trickster God, an exchange of broken veins and well-worn hearts, read strips of poems to your soul, line my insides with old photographs, learning to see in darkness, yearn to feel less cavernous. I wish the volcano glow base of my spine would keep me warm. Is that the secret? Pressure, bubbling magma toward the surface, not so much to rupture, just enough to spread. Feel the tremendous warmth of your grin like the sun and glory and dread power. Maybe I have put you on a pedestal. Perhaps everything is fabulous and we are the same height and depth, and having wings means more than bearing witness. Last time I really cried was my back dripping red, flowing between salt tears of grief and joy. You know the kind, delicate. Galaxies just underneath the surface. Poems to your heart, beloved, trickster, God. Slip through my fingertips like so much time. Thank you so much. All right. I have a thing that I wrote today between things that I haven't looked at all since I finished it. Do y'all want to hear it? Cool. I can't make any... I don't know if it's good or not. I don't remember what I wrote. We can find out. You can tell me if it sucks. Don't tell me if it sucks, I'll cry. I have trouble believing in things. When you believe in signs, you see them everywhere, and seeing is believing, and it feeds itself. And Ouroboros and Ouroboros, you know, the snake eating its tail, winding softly around your wrist, around your windpipe. Snakes can dislocate their jaws to consume larger prey. My drawers wound shut tight, but my great-grandmothers were cannibals, so watch it. I believe poetry over prayer, but both are molten, melding like broken capillaries, tools in the arsenal. I write fractured attempts at coalescing thought, condensing parallel train tracks into a focused wooden beam splintering across my bitten tongue. But I am not seeking your understanding. I no longer crave approval. I refuse to dislocate my shoulders to make space for you. I am decalcifying my third eye. A grandchild, a punga, offspring of Tutuehe, Tute Wana, lizard father, Tuatara. My blood runs cold when people say my name in the wrong language. I sit and warm my veins on rocks like Kaninui Tepo's thighs. Tamanui Te Rā kisses my forehead as he saunters past. Our eyes are open and we wear our rope marks proudly. Scarred by different times in teeth and hands, I have believed a lot of things. I have believed so many tooth and bone white lies about my body and my soul, but I am learning. My third eye is opening. I brush the dust off my skin, flakes like scales. I unwind my jaw with every reclaimed kupu Māori spit between shame-hardened teeth. I wish I knew earlier on that I look Māori. I am Māori. I am all who came before me, and all my great-great-grandmothers were cannibals, so don't touch me. We are not savages. We are warriors. My fingernails are made of fire like my auntie's. Now and then I think I should have gouged your eyes out. But I don't believe in non-consensual violence. I believe in signs, so now I see them everywhere. It's still hard to believe the things I see. I feed myself. What happens when the snake reaches the back of its own head? I dislocate my jaw to scream my stolen reo, spit my dead teeth in your face. I remember your hands wrapped around my hands, around my windpipe. This time I swallow you whole. I have trouble believing in things, but I am not a thing anymore. I see myself everywhere, wind my hands softly through my wairoa, jaw set as strong as all my namesakes. I've believed so many things. Now I believe my tupuna, and now I know myself. Thank you so much. I went to Jordan's workshop this morning, so I think it worked, bro. It was a really good workshop. Yeah. Will we do a less grumpy one, or will we do an even angstier one? Angsty? Angsty. All right. We'll do an angsty one, and then the lighter one is quite short, so I can end on that one. If that's cool. Is that case fine? I don't know how long it's been. Has it been 3 years? Maybe.
It sounds good.
Cool. I just found it and I lost it. I gotta find it again. Hang on. Aha. Oh, yeah, this was a big old rant at myself. Is imitation flattery? Or subbing an identity when you're too scared or stubborn, sad to try and form your own? Are you taking that idea and running with it? Or experimenting? Or appropriating struggle? Are you feeling that? Or do the words just taste familiar because your favourite band is touring or your best friends want to die? These are the qualifiers of your whole high school career, and they've been gone for 7 years. You're conflating the comeback and the come down. Are you missing the attention? Do you worry people only care about you when they're worried? Does it trump your fears of worrying them? Scaring them? Or is it that you want to scare your friends and open up your recklessness and show them? Oh, you'll show them all what? That you have feelings too? They know. They try to tell you. They say you can talk to them and then you don't, and that's why you get like this. You can't blame them for your selfish refusal, shame, self-consciousness. They can't read minds. You don't expect them to. But boy, do you get angry when they haven't, even though they ask you how you are and you maintain you're not a liar because you are fine. You're overreacting. Out of fear, for sure, and out of trauma, you can see it when you get a little distance. While it sits with you, the pixels are too big and incoherent, and you swing the image around like a beam carried on your shoulder so you can't see the back end catch your fringed cheek. And then again the other way as you frantically try to find out what you've done wrong, and how and who to be. My love, first put the beam down, take the needle out, walk gently to the other end. There is a process here of letting go without causing more harm. Thank you. I didn't expect to read that, and it was really validating. Thanks. I appreciate y'all very much. This is called 19. Sit in the sunshine. Let them evaporate off your skin. Let your feelings for them wane like the moon. They could never compare. Their glow is stolen light, reflections of your own. Maybe you haven't seen it yet. Maybe you've never looked. Watch. See how their light pales when you shift your stance. See how bright the things you choose to focus on instead. Thank you, thank you. Thanks, everyone. We're going to have some cordial now. Is that the jams?
Yeah.
Did you want to ask the questions?
Yeah, I think I'll ask the questions. I pulled up the email. There's the questions on them.
Yes, technology.
Organisation. But yeah, I just want to like, I don't know, celebrate you three. It was really good to hear you read. I haven't heard. I don't know if have I heard you read before, Faith?
I don't think so.
Yeah. That was cool.
Yeah,
I haven't heard any of.
I haven't heard you read either.
Wow. It was all new. It was all good.
Amazing.
That was really cool.
I'm still a little shell-shocked at the
I
moment.
feel it, hon. I'm still getting over yours.
So like me. That was so good though. All of these are amazing.
I love it. Everyone's just chilling out being like, oh, you're so
Yeah,
good.
I think we should clap again for Faith and Jess and Fina.
Thank you.
So, yeah, all the questions is going to be like for everyone, essentially, because broad is easier to prepare. And just however you want to answer, you don't need to doesn't have to be like the right answer for the question. If something like comes to you, speak to it. But yeah, first question is like, what is your writing process like, if you have one? Yeah.
I don't know, I could go for this.
Yeah.
It's very sporadic. As in, sometimes I don't write for ages, and then when I do, I feel like my best poems or piece of writing come out all at once, and then I'll leave it for a bit, and then I can come back and then tweak stuff. But usually they're if I have to work on something a lot, then I feel like it's going to be really shit, and it usually is. And so I go into my Google Docs, and I have literally hundreds of maybe 4 sentences or 5 lines, and then I'll go back and I'm damn, that's bad. So I don't really have my process is not a process.
I think I'm very similar. I've got a lot of Word documents on my desktop that have a paragraph or a sentence, then I'll open a new one and think, we'll keep them separate. But then it's just this mess, and I don't feel like I've had a good, real burst of inspiration for 8 years. So I don't know what I'm doing right now.
I feel that.
But it's all right. It seems to be okay.
I have read and listened to a fair amount of your work from the last 8 years, and my God, hun. If you hadn't just said that you hadn't had like a proper burst of inspiration last day, I would not believe you. I still don't.
They would have been cooked up back then, and then they're still coming up, but there's no fresh ideas. Nothing new. It's all old. Nothing new.
So good. I'm so impressed.
I'm impressed by this whole everything. I'm just
this is I met Essa and Faith today, and like I knew I was going to be flawed, and like I have been.
Amazing. So beautiful. What's your process?
I feel you both on the process thing, eh? Like, no, I'm the same, but just in my memo app on my phone. Just a bunch of things, which is like one line or like 2 words that I thought sounded cool together that I'm never going to look at again.
Yeah.
And like, but I think it all helps, you know, like I think that even though we're like, oh yeah, it's just a mess, there's like nothing, I don't use any of it, I don't think you need to use any of it really, like, because part of the non-process process of it, like part of the process is getting it out.
Therapy.
Yeah, and also like even if you don't do anything with it, like that's some words that exist in an order that probably no one's put them in before because of, you know, stats. Like, stats. And like,
This is original according to statistics.
Yeah. And like, you know, it's the thing of I've lost the thread of my sentence, but
doesn't have to be a social process or it's for publishing or it's to be this short story or poem. It
can just be stuff, and then it can just hang out, and then the more stuff you do, the more stuff there is, like, you know, cooking in the back of your brain for when like something comes out and you're like, hey, that one's cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something with that.
It's cool keeping it for a while because then you can go back to it after a year or two, and it's like.
Also, the longer you leave it, the less shit it gets.
Yes.
Well, it sometimes feels like it was someone else. Do you get that feeling? Like you read something you wrote, you're like, that was, well, and it is sort of someone else, because, I mean, I feel like personally I'm not, like, you know, you change, and so it is like actually a different person that wrote that stuff sometimes.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like you're someone who has a process.
I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know. So I've had different processes throughout like the last 4 or 5 years. For 2 years I just wrote a poem a day, and that was like just to get stuff out. Because I had this fear, if I stopped, then it would never happen again. And so I did that for a while, and that produced a lot of stuff. It wasn't very good, but I think, again, it's like important to just get that out, because like, I don't know, I think a poem is also all the stuff that isn't in the poem as well. And then someone gave me a typewriter, so I like actually wanted to use the typewriter, and I really like the clack noise. It's a very meaty typewriter. You have to like press hard, and like and the keys go down far, and the arm's just like really angry. Anyway, so I would put a lot of like. Recently, I would like write a lot of my drafts onto the typewriter, because you can't like go back on your words, and then it'd be like an editorial process translating them to like a Word document or something.
That's so cool.
And
typewriter to computer.
I love the not being able to sort of go back on what you're doing. The
Yeah.
draft phase is really cool. Like, I draw the same way. Partly because I'm lazy and I don't like cleaning up, so I don't like paint or anything. But like and if I'm using pencils, I'll like agonize and like rub the same things out. Like, you know, spend 2 hours on a line and it's ridiculous. But if I'm using a pen, I can't do that. I can't go back over it. I just have to kind of deal with it and carry on. I think it's a really cool. I've never thought of applying that to writing, and it's a fucking cool idea.
yeah, and a lot of I have like all of my poems from a year in one Word document. So that like if there's something that's not working in one poem, I can just like, you know, copy it and move it around, or I don't know. I think I got the idea from Tay. I don't know. She talked about like having a farm of poems, and I just like that idea. Because I just had like hundreds of Word documents, and I just wouldn't know what was in them because I wouldn't title them properly. just be like ASDF,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. For
That
each.
always seems like a fine idea until you try to find anything anywhere.
Yeah. And then I have like manuscript documents, so like the stuff that's in like the year document gets moved into like a project or something.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
And then I have an Excel spreadsheet,
Yes! Love a spreadsheet.
which
in
is
your
just like
spreadsheet?
where I've sent things and what I'm working on, and I made a to-do list of the things I need to do to finish my second book today. So yeah, I don't know.
We're clapping for your book. Yes!
I don't know, but I think that's also part of it being very like a kind of intensely public part of my life in a way. Like I send things off all the time. Yeah, and I've had to like force myself to be slightly organized. But yeah, but for, like your experience of no process is also something I'm familiar with. When I did the master's course in Wellington, I mostly just like lay in bed, half awake, just typing depressing shit. So there wasn't much process to that, apart from just get it all out. I don't want to be here. Yeah, I don't know.
Catharsis in there too, though.
Yeah. It can be very tiring though.
Yeah.
I remember being asked, like, do you just write for catharsis? And I'm like, well, if I did that, I'd just be exhausted all the time. Though I already am. But anyway. Yeah. Next question?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's organic.
Why not?
So we're all visual artists, right?
Oh, true. Hey.
Or
Dope.
I don't know.
Was that a collective reluctance to call ourselves artists? Because we should quit that, because y'all are artists. Also same. Oh, okay, love you.
It's been, wait, what? So it's been probably, I don't know, 5 years of putting art out there, but then the rest of my life has been people telling me I'm never going to have a career in art. So that's
Well,
still
look at you now.
19 years to unlearn and unpack.
Yeah.
So it's a bit tricky to admit it.
I'm proud of you for doing that, Mahi, though, because, like, you're doing it.
You too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, look at us all making art. Fuck yeah.
I'm like, disclaimer, like, I don't really, like, I have dabbled, but I don't really make it. I haven't made any in years, like visual art in that sense.
But
So-
you have. So, you are, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a similar kind of, I don't know, like I don't know. So this is, I'm just going to tell a little story about the cover of my book, Ransack, which is, I wanted to get a painting from, it's good, I forgot his name. Ralph Hortedy. I wanted to get a painting from him for the cover, and so we emailed like the estate and then waited like a couple of months, and then they were like, no. And then I was just like, oh shit, I don't know what's going to be the cover of the book then. So I just like bought some red and black paint, just like scribbled on a page, like this like hook shape, and then just like through painted it and like finger painted and did whatever, scanned it, sent it to Fergus, who's the editor, and he was like, yeah, that's the cover, and I was like, oh. So that's like my weird pivot into being a visual artist, was just trying to sort the cover out for my book. But yeah, the question, because I didn't even get to the question. Oh, fucking email closed. It was basically like asking about like the overlap between processes. Wow, paper. Very good.
What is it?
Yeah, is there much crossover between creative practices, and do they inform each other, or are they separate?
Mine inform each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They fill in the gaps that one or the other cannot fill. If I can't express something, I'll draw it out. If I can't draw it out, I'll poetry it. I'll kind of write a poem. That's it.
That's cool.
I did a weird combo thing yesterday in preparation for Zine Fest, because I don't do anything before the last minute. I had like this stack of paintings that I made, because I had this set of oil paints that someone gave me, and I've always been too scared to use them because, like, I don't know, oh god, I'm not a painter, I can't use oils, what? And then, like, I, grabbed some paper and sort of went, fuck it, and just, like, put some of the tube on the page, and, if you want to paint and you feel like you can't paint or you're not good enough at it, get a palette knife and just do that. Chuck some paint at some paper and like palette knife it, and it immediately looks fucking cool. So yeah, I did that. I spent half a night doing that on little bits of A5 paper that I had around, and then I just kind of sat in my room for the last, it was lockdown. How long ago was March? Oh god, however long ago that was.
Like a day ago.
Yeah, however long ago that was, I was just sitting in my room and I didn't know what to do with them, and then Zine Fest was happening and I was like, cool, I have not much sitting around in my house, guess I should make something. And then I was like, you. And so I pulled them out and scribbled some bits of new poems that I'm going to put into some kind of book thing on them, and it turned out cool. I think it turned out, the other option was I was probably just going to do nothing with them forever, so it was a fun time, and I've never usually poems live in my phone, and any kind of visual stuff that I do stays quite separate from that, so it was really interesting to kind of stick them together.
That's cool.
So I think when I had my visual practice was more like a performance practice, and I don't really do that anymore. And so it was, and then there was definitely written elements to it. And I guess at the time it was a similar process in that it was a way of exploring a lot of those deep down ideas. And I think actually I just come out of the school of the same, doing my master's in creative writing. And that, I think, that was I just didn't write for ages, and I turned to performance instead, and I think it was a way for me to process, I guess, some of the trauma from, of coming out of that really intense year of writing and feeling quite strange about it all, and so I couldn't write for ages, so then my creative practice became something else, and then, now I don't even know what it is.
Sounds cool though.
That's really cool.
I think there's something nice in something not being quantifiable, right? There can be a lot of energy that comes from that space. Should I answer the question? I don't know.
Yeah.
Now I want to know what it is.
I don't know. I find that visual art or music or anything that isn't poetry, I view it as quite separate, but I guess it comes from a similar place. I just don't. I don't ever want to spend too long painting a picture or making a song. Everything I do is just, it has to be done that day, or else I'm just going to give up on it. Because poetry is the thing I spend so much time on, just just throwing myself at the page for hours and hours. So I like these other things to be kind of just to to relieve stress or something like that. So that's how I view them. I think they talk about a lot of similar things because they all come from the same person, I guess. But yeah, I think
it's all interwoven.
Yeah.
It's just it's interesting. I find visual art easier, or there's some more joyful, I suppose, a bit lighter, a bit more gentle. Poetry is quite heavy, and I honestly think I convinced myself when I was 5 that I was gonna be a writer and that I was gonna be good, but I was always a drawer. But I don't know if I think I'm faking a lot of what I do, and I think that I don't know. I just find that quite interesting. Is that poetry's always going to be hard, and doesn't mean you're bad at it, but it's never gonna come out quite as
easily as the visual stuff does.
Is it one of those things where you feel like you have to kind of struggle with it to make it authentic, or is it one of the, like...
Maybe. You have to really keep throwing yourself at it over and over and kind of almost beating yourself up over it over and over, whereas the visual, you've got an image, you've got the idea, you've got the flow. I've got more of a flow with the visual, but with the poetry, especially like when it's about such really intense stuff that I hadn't thought about until 4 to 5 years ago, especially with Māori poetry. That's hard, man. That's so hard. I don't know. I don't think it'll ever come easy. It will never come out like a flow. I don't know.
That's so interesting, because I have realized recently that I mostly use poetry as a tool for working through stuff. If I'm having a whole time in my brain or whatever, I'll just write it out. And it's really useful for that, but also it's been really cool hanging out with people today and seeing the different kind of ways that people approach writing. And I was at Jordan Hamill's workshop this morning, and it was really cool because the first initial thing that we did was just this really silly, absurdist kind of exercise of combining words, and then you use that as a prompt to write an elevator picture thing. And it was so interesting because it was so different from how I usually write, because I'm usually just angsting into a notebook or whatever. And it was really fun to just kind of be all I'm ever doing when I do that is sticking words near each other, and there are other ways to do that, and it doesn't have to I feel like there's a tendency with art and music and poetry and stuff and life generally under capitalism, that thing where suffering is a virtue, or the more you kind of suffer, the better it'll be somehow, or your thing's not valid unless you had to fight really hard for it, and it doesn't need to be that. Yeah. Sometimes it is that, and sometimes you go, sometimes there are fights that need to be fought, but sometimes you can just do stuff because it's fun. And also I think, words should be allowed to be that thing, even if it's not your kind of usual path. I don't know. Those are some thoughts I've been having today. There you go.
Thank you. It's cool.
Yeah. It was fun to have fun and not be such a angsty. So angsty.
Yeah.
I just never grew out of my emo phase,
No one ever does.
No, it's always there.
Don't want to grow out of it.
Next question. What is a piece of writing, a poem, an essay, even just a line that is exciting to you right now?
Oh my gosh.
Or even just a writer, or just, I don't know.
I spend so much time watching The Simpsons. I don't read as much as people think I read. Yes, every day, from morning till night. I do. I have been reading Owe by Bex.
Cool.
Becky Manawatu, yeah.
Yeah, that's been riveting. Page turner, the drama is there. I think I'm very excited about that, and to finish that, that's been beautiful.
I think it's the first novel I've read in ages.
Yeah,
I was just
same.
I was reading it on my phone at the gym. It was such a cursed thing. I was just on the exercise cycle, just crying.
Yes, okay, it's very emotional.
Because I needed to focus on anything but the exercise, and so it's just this tale of trauma. That's great.
Yeah.
It's someone else's trauma. Let me just sit in that for a minute while I don't think about how much my legs hurt.
It's a great way to motivate yourself.
Yeah.
I love that for you.
Well, I stopped when COVID came. I stopped going to the gym. So
same. I went before COVID, I went the whole week. I was I'm gonna get a membership. Then it happened.
Yeah.
I'm nodding along.
I'm just paying the
I go
gym
to
donation at the
even,
moment.
It's It's a sign. Don't need to go to the gym.
What was the question? Was it something that we're reading?
So you're reading.
Oh, God, I don't read. That's the thing, like, I used to read like a fiend when I was a kid.
What's your favourite book? Your favourite
Shit.
thing that you used to?
I mean, I grew up, I'm just going to end up talking about how angry I am at J.K. Rowling, don't we?
No.
Yeah, no. Those were my faves growing up, and she's bricked them. But anyhow, actually, probably the most recent novel that I read was an autobiography of Red. My friend loaned it to me, and it is such an interesting book. It's like it's a novel, but it's written so poetically, and that and Pete by blanking on her name. I want to say Anne Carson, I think. And it's about the construction of the Carpety Highway, I think. But it's another one that's just so gorgeously written. The whole thing is like a giant poem, but it's like not quite either. I know, they're really interesting books. Like, please go read them. They're gorgeous. Everything's so lyrical, even though it's like, but you still feel like you're like sitting and reading a novel, but it's a billion times easier because there's like line breaks every 3 words. But like, yeah, I don't know. I stopped reading when I left high school, basically. Like, went to Polytech and went to design school and just did like, I had academic stuff to read now, and I was like, oh, cool, reading is fun. And then like someone told me I had to do it, so it was shit, and I hated it.
But you can't read the other things for pleasure because
yeah, because I have to.
academic,
Yeah, because you don't need to put the thing that you have to do first. You can stop and do fun stuff, especially when like you're trying to do the stuff you have to do just results in you just sitting on your bed in existential agony for 6 hours. Like, just do the fun thing, but yeah, I don't know, it kind of, tertiary education kind of hampered my reading ability, so now I mostly jam audiobooks.
Such a thing.
Yeah. I have found, audiobooks are a fun time though. Also, you can like get as many Audible 30-day free trials, which gets you a free audiobook, as you have email addresses. And it is very, very easy to make email addresses, and Jeff Bezos does not need your money. So, support Audible and their lovely free trial, hey, you get a free audiobook program. And I've been listening to Gideon the Ninth by Tamsin Muir, who is author from here somewhere, from Aotearoa, and it is so cool, my dudes. It's about gay necromancers in space. So, so check out Gideon the Ninth if you need a thing.
Amazing.
That's my reading from lately.
That's cool.
What about you two?
I am feeling inspired. This is also a chance to plug the new tupuranga.
Yes.
But Rex Paget is particular. He's a like Samoan poet, and he just writes really amazing stuff. I don't know. You should just go read it. I'm feeling inspired by him at the moment.
Cool.
Just leave it at that.
Intriguing.
I'm gonna Google it.
I have to go find it.
Look that up.
That's like a very composed answer.
Had a long time to think about it.
Wish I had a composed answer. I don't know, Ariel Walker is also in Tupuranga, and I Skyped her once a week for like ages and just watched her make this really crazy long poem about like plants. It's just really cool, and it has everything in it that you could ever want to write about.
That is really, it made me like,
and it's made me cry a lot, which I think is a good thing.
Hard.
Really come round to crying lately, eh? Like,
I get that.
It's healthy.
Yeah, it's like, spent long enough doing that thing where you're like, no, I won't cry about anything, no. And then like, just do it. Like, you'll feel better, it's fine.
It's fine. It's relatable.
I've also been watching BoJack Horseman a lot.
Oh, God.
It's like, Yeah, that's influenced some poems I've written lately. I don't know. I have this fake memory of the start being happy for some reason of that show, but it's not. It's just all sad all the time.
No one's happy in that show.
It's sort of a good question.
Oh.
And sorry, I'm just interrupting. I just mainly because I want to talk about my dreams that I've had.
Yeah, do it.
And so I thought we could, if you've had a dream recently, but I just have had these two really buzzy dreams 2 nights in a row. And the one, not last night, but the night before, there were all these eels in my backyard, like huge fucking eels, like I'm talking like big mouths like that, like probably as long as like from there to like there, swimming around in this like pond in my backyard. And I was like, whoa, they're so big. And eels are really significant in like many of the kind of stories of my culture. And then last night, do you know what a lamprey is? It's like, they look like eels, but they're fucking scary. When you can like, they're in our rivers and stuff, but their like teeth are like those, they look like, you should just Google a lamprey right now.
Is
and
it
it's like,
a
it's,
type of eel?
no, but they look like
initially.
eels, but they're like,
fucking
they're
terrifying.
freaky.
They're just the
Anyway,
things with,
in my
like,
dream last night, they were
It's
like,
just like a tube with a
all
mouth.
over me everywhere, like all these lampreys just like sucking my blood.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Who in your life is toxic? Who's
That's-
sucking your ear?
And I was like, I think it's a certain family member. But anyway, so I was just like, anyway, I had all these like dreams with eels and lampreys in them. And I just,
Yeah, because as soon as you were like talking about, there's all these eels in my backyard, I'm like, hun, that's your ancestors. And then like, you're like, and then all these lampreys, but I'm like, who you gotta stop talking to?
I like eels, but that doesn't sound pleasant.
Lampreys are
the eels were nice and the lampreys were not
Lampreys
nice.
are so concerning to me. Like,
gonna
because they
Google
don't
it.
have
I'm
eyes.
gonna
That's
look
all.
These like did look
Because they don't have
wanna
eyes, right?
see what
They're
this
just
their
like
mouth is like
just like a tube with a really pointy mouth. It's just,
Is it lamprey? L-A-M-P.
REY.
Oh, I found. Ew, we have Ew. That's horrible.
Oh shit!
I don't like it. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no,
That's
It's like
awful.
a dangerous flashlight.
Anyway, sorry to deviate. I just really felt like I had to bring that up.
oh no.
Dreams? Has anyone had any?
Oh, I had a dream maybe not last night, maybe the night before. It's not like what you were saying. I just had to explain why I didn't like Hamilton, like the play. I had to explain why I didn't like Hamilton the play to these like,
Theatre kids or something?
I don't know, yeah, just like these strangers who I knew really, really liked it. And it was just like,
Anxiety.
it felt like imperialist propaganda. It was just like this really weird, just like woke up really stressed out, like, oh my god, I don't want to do this. So yeah, I think that's just explicitly about how I have a lot of friends who really like Hamilton.
Oh my god, I loved it for a hot minute. I was like, it's catchy, it's getting me through my exam. And then it came out, and my partner and I watched it, and we're like, are you super uncomfortable too? Yes, this is weird. It's creepy. It was sad. Just do whatever you want, but like, you can watch it and be critical and still tap your foot. But it could have been satirical. It could have been shitting on the founding fathers, but it was like glorifying them too
Yeah,
much.
so if it like just leaned into like Black Revolution like a bit more,
Yeah.
then I could have dug that.
Yeah,
But I
yeah,
didn't.
agreed.
I felt sick.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack in that whole, not only the musical, but the culture around the musical, the people around the, there's a lot there. It's a scary dream.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, both of you.
Horrible dreams, yeah. Have you had any nice ones?
I can't remember. I'm blanking on all of the dreams I've
forget
ever
a
had
lot.
in my life. Like,
Yeah.
I can usually I can remember things when I wake up. And, then they kind of fade with time, and I suppose they live in the back of my brain somewhere, and then probably contribute to all the angst, but I don't remember anything from lately. I'm just, it's it's reassuring to sit near people who also were uncomfortable about Hamilton.
Got some creepy energy.
I spent the whole time being distracted about how much I didn't care about any of those dudes because I was like, you stole the land though!
Yeah.
The whole time.
No mention of Indigenous peoples, no mention of
I was like, I
Native
don't,
Americans.
like, yeah, cool, you did this great, but I don't care because I care about those dudes because I feel that.
You died in a duel. Oh my god.
What?
You died in the same place as your son did in the same way. Like, what is that?
Yeah,
It's like,
revolutionary
it's
stuff.
like low IQ beta. I didn't say that.
Miranda is interesting. He inserts himself funny places because he did a lot with Moana with Disney too. And I just always get the guy who wrote Hamilton and then cast himself as Hamilton in his show as the main, then did the music for Moana, I think for Disney. And then during that song, there's that song. And he just puts himself in it. It's like, why are you here? Not that Moana's a good example, but he's got something going on.
He was in the second Mary Poppins as well, and he wrote my least favourite song. I loved Mary Poppins when I was a kid, and the second one was like, oh, you're here.
I don't
But like, I don't know, it's chill. Do we have more questions that aren't
Yeah,
dragging
sorry.
on the Miranda?
Okay, yeah, there's
Sorry, any Hamilton
a
fans.
question. There's a final question.
Do it.
If there's a perception about your writing that you could eschew or say fuck off to, what would it be?
Nice. I don't know what any perceptions on my writing are. Y'all have just been really lovely this evening, and I appreciate it. This is like my fourth time ever reading poetry that I've written out loud. And like, the other three have all been this year, and they've all been in this building. Like, and they've all been, Ema has been there every time.
And it is actually just like, you know, The Shining, like we've just been here the
Oh
whole
shit,
time.
don't do that to me.
Yeah,
No, I'm real new to this game, and I appreciate you.
That's funny, you don't seem new to me. You seem seasoned, a seasoned vet in this field. I always see you at these events and you're always killing it. So.
Hey, it's just, I'm just lying. just all lies. I'm terrified all the time. No, that's not true anymore. That used to be true. But like, turns out if you just do things, then you've done them. It's real weird.
What about you? I'm still thinking.
I guess like, I guess my last poem sort of talked about it like, and this is just like more of a general like perception of maybe like brown people who make art, like that it has to be, or that it's I don't know. I don't actually know. I guess people often think, oh my god, I'm just babbling. I don't really know, because...
This is a hard question.
Yeah, I feel like I used
You
to...
wrote the question.
I know! I was like, who wrote this fucking question? 'Twas myself. But I think, like, my writing used to be more, like, sassy, so I think there was a time where I was, like, known to be a sassy writer, and I hate the word sassy. Two, I don't actually really write sassy things anymore, but I feel like there's just like this, there's like this lingering shadow of my former sassy self that is just like around. I don't know, but maybe that's just in my own head, because maybe no one else here thinks that I'm a sassy person.
Right.
Or maybe that my writing's really like sentimental, which it is. So maybe I don't want to say fuck off to that because it is really sentimental, but yeah, I guess that's my answer. To the question that I hate, that I wrote.
Yeah, I feel like the main kind of perception of my writing that I'd want to eschew is like mine, because I tend to think that my writing sucks.
Yeah.
And like, it'd be nice to be able to effectively tell that to fuck off.
Fuck off.
Yeah, which like, I mean, it's starting to happen because I made it here and did this, but like, yeah, it's a really interesting question, I think, especially, I don't know, it's interesting from my end because I just haven't shared enough stuff to kind of have a knowledge of a perception of my writing other than mine. So.
Tay said that my poetry was like rupee car, and I got real offended. And I get it. I don't edit much, and I'm not a particularly complex person. She's great, and this is probably quite controversial because I think a lot of people here will probably love her. And I'm not mad at her, I just, not take Ruby, but like, just pisses me off, I think. And I was like, fuck off. But at the same time, fair enough. And
I think your writing's more complex than Ruby's, from what I've heard tonight.
But she's got some really good pieces, but then she's got some pieces I despise, and I just needed a break from having a look at her stuff, and then I went through a bit where I just didn't like her, and now I'm neutral. But I just remember her saying that and me being like, oh, you think I'm not very deep, do you? And fair. I don't think that it's all that good anyway, but it's cool to share. It's cool to share your shit.
Is that partly that thing of like just being compared to like, because you know how like any kind of creative thing is like, this is like little pieces of your soul, and then like someone to have that be directly compared to, you know, little pieces of someone else's soul is like an uncomfortable thing.
It's weird.
And like, cause like
someone you don't know.
Yeah, like literally what I'm thinking of is this girl in my high school who dyed her hair bright orange, and then everyone started saying that she looked like Hayley Williams from Paramore because they were both pretty white girls who had bright orange hair, and then she like hated Paramore because she just hated being compared. And so I wonder if like part of it is just the comparison thing of like, no, I'm me though.
Yeah, that could be it.
Because Dave, you're dope.
Though I would like love to be compared to like some people.
Right?
I'm like, yeah, give me
The good ones.
those good compliments.
The good ones.
Yeah.
Just
Don't get
someone
them off them,
reassure
but
me, please.
Soak it all in. What would your answer to that question be?
So there's like a lot of times where people have said, your stuff's like this, and I'm like, no, it isn't anymore. So like, I got interviewed for a podcast a long time ago. I had a different name. It was a different time. I'm in a neo-noir now. They were just like, an essa poem is like this poem of like short lines, and it's like, you know, this thing that, you know, just goes down the page, and it's like this kind of quiet, observational thing, and it's just like, I'm not fucking doing that again. So that was like one of the things. But then I also get the whole, you write about gender all the time, and I do write about gender a lot, but it's like, I hope it's not the only thing I write about.
Is it because it's a really big part of your life, and you write about what's in your life?
It's nice to have autonomy over like your description and your, this is what I write. But if someone says what I write, I'm going to defy you. I'm going to go against what you say.
I can say what my stuff is. You can't tell me what to fucking do though.
Yeah.
Or like that kind of like, what's the word that I want? It's not quite rebellious. It's that thing, that one. Where like as soon as someone tells you to do something, you're like, no, I've never wanted to do anything less than that thing.
Aries.
Aries energy.
Yeah, right.
I think, is that a good thing?
I feel like also though, post-colonial energy as well.
Yeah.
Like that kind of
Big.
must defy everything thing. Because like, look at everything.
And having it described makes it set in that way. And it makes you feel like you want to develop, and you don't want people to think you can't develop, or you're not going to develop. We're always going to change. Our style is always going to change. And that's important to us. So.
Yeah, it's also just a weird time trying to quantify people. Like, don't. Don't need to do that.
I think we have like a little bit of time left. So I was wondering if there were like any questions?
Oh yes, we opening questions
Yeah.
to the floor.
Sorry, Elliot.
If not, though, thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you all for coming. Thanks for listening. Does anyone got anything they want to ask us about? Oh, we have a mic. Cool. Question mic. Thanks, Ali.
But you don't have to.
Yeah.
Although I do understand we have been here for 2 hours and it's really long to sit, so you don't have to.
Yeah. If anyone's got questions, we're happy to answer questions. I'm also happy to keep yarning because I never shut up. So.
Yeah, we have about 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. Easy.
Do you have any more questions that you've written, or?
We exhausted.
No, that was us.
That was it.
Yeah.
I think we can finish early.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
I'm
do
happy
it.
with that. Yeah.
Have dinner.
Yeah.
Hope everyone's okay. And thank you for being here with us, and
Yeah, thanks.
it's really nice.
Thanks.
Thanks.